Laxcity asked, do you get a lot of placements? When I first started doing music, my whole goal was to get placements. I wanted to get the platinum records. I wanted to get the big songs. I wanted to work with the big artists and all those things. And I've done all that. And it's great. But what I realize more and more is releasing your own independent music, you have much more control. As far as placements go, it can be great if you like an artist to pitch for a placement. Things to remember is there's a lot of competition, and a lot of times the credit or the money or the situation might not be exactly what you want. Like, I've gotten major placements where the artist said, okay, we'll give you the money for this, but we're not gonna put your name on YouTube. I'm like, are you kidding me? You can't put my name produced by DECAP on YouTube? There's just a lot of weirdness going on. I am all for placements. I'm all for major placements because a hit record can definitely change your life. I have a lot of friends who have tons of hit records, people I've known for my whole career. But the thing is, if you're a smaller producer trying to get placements, it's a very tough game to play. I have gotten platinum records. I produced Dazed and Confused by Rule, which went platinum in Australia, and it is now gold in the US. And that's great. I've produced for tons of artists and I've gotten placements with tons of artists. But at the end of the day, it's all about what your goals are. I just found that doing things independently not only have more direct results because you actually control them. You can release whatever you want, when you want. I mean, if you look at my Spotify page, as of late, my Spotify numbers have been going up. I actually have as many monthly listeners as a lot of signed artists and independent artists. The way I've done it is through building my own audience. I find that going directly with no signing away my content is a great way to do it. I can release the music I want, instrumentals. I have almost 500,000 monthly listeners, 404,000 monthly listeners right now. And I'm still growing, I'm still building, I'm still learning. This is what I've been able to do on my own and with some of the talented people I've worked with. I find that as you keep building your brand, keep putting your face out there, putting your music out there, placements become more of a thing. Like, yeah, it's cool if Drake needs beats and he happens to like what DECAP is doing. Of course, I'm gonna sell some beats to Drake, get those placements, but I'm not looking at that to fuel my career because I've made a great career out of releasing my own independent music and by doing products directly to consumer. Placements are one part of it. Just like me doing drum kits, that's one part of my business. Just like live streaming with you guys, that's another part of my business. Social media. All these things add up to the whole picture of what I do. I do get placements, but I don't aim for them as like my main goal. But it's different for everybody. If you ask someone like Boy Wonder or T- or Timbaland, it's more of a part of their business model because they've built these relationships. It's for some people, not for everybody. It's a very competitive game. So I do try to get placements, but that's not my main source of income. It's more like I do it for fun because I just like music. What do you guys think about that? What are your goals? Is it to get placements? Is it to build your brand? Let's have a conversation. Let me know in the chat. I get inspired by all different kinds of stuff. As we get placements, I think that's great, but work on your solo album. Why not do songs with major artists and then release them? Hit Boy, he's been producing for Nas, he's been producing for Jay-Z, all these people. I did a song with Hit Boy. Me and Hit Boy released an instrumental together. It's up on Spotify back in 2016. So I've been in the studio with Hit Boy. I've worked with Hit Boy. We don't even need to get a placement. We could just do a song together. What's the goal in getting placements? It depends on the goal. Jay Versace said, I low-key want placements, not gonna lie. Absolutely. Here's the other thing. When you're aiming to get placements with major artists and labels, you have to make sure you have a lawyer. Make sure that a lawyer looks over the contracts because when you get that 7 or 8 page contract, you're gonna have to spend $500 to $1,000 to get it looked over. Placements, you think like, oh, there's all this money, but say they give you $5,000 for your beat. You're gonna have to spend money negotiating the contract. And they're not gonna often give you an advance to negotiate. Sometimes they'll only give you like $2,500 for a beat. That's what they'll offer. And I'm like, well, why is that worth it to me? I'm having to spend money to look over the contract and make sure the points are right. And if it's a smaller artist, the points oftentimes aren't gonna even matter because they don't have that kind of following. If it's a bigger artist, you will get money from your PROs and publishing and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you're negotiating points. And the thing I say is if your goal is placements, just make sure you have the infrastructure set up in order to capitalize on those placements. Laxcity said, never thought I'd need lawyers in music. When I did that for the first time, it was strange. Going from just dropping on SoundCloud to do that was crazy though. 100%. I think probably a lot of artists who are used to just releasing their own music don't realize that once you get into the business aspect of music, you really need to have the infrastructure set up. And if you don't, it's really difficult because you will get lowballed, you won't get paid for your work, you won't get credit for your work. There's a lot of bullshit going on in this business. So make sure you have the right team to support you. And that means having a lawyer that you can call. And it's not easy. They'll ask you to send stems when you haven't even come to an agreement sometimes. And that's all good. I've worked with so many artists who are extremely dope, but it's because I'm set up. I have a lawyer now. I have my infrastructure in place. So just make sure you have your stuff in place so that when the opportunity comes, you're ready. If you try to do this without a lawyer, it's just going to be ugly. So make sure you keep that in mind. If you're really aiming for placements to make income off your music, make sure you have your infrastructure set up. A lot of people want to skip the lawyer thing, but it's so important. Me and Blackjack just had a conversation about this last week. It's really important because the industry wants to try to squeeze as much money from you as possible. That is a fact. Blackjack, do you find that to be true? Once you start getting deeper into the business, having a lawyer is 100% essential. DECAP.